Good afternoon. Today we speak with President of the Albany Common Council, mayoral candidate, Ms. McLaughlin. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Uh, we're just blessed to have you speak with us today. We're interested in why did you choose to run for office?
Well, if I think back to originally when I ran for office in 1997, it was because I've been involved in a lot of volunteer activities that involved human services, different educational services, just for looking into youth programs, and just the job that I had at the time. I worked for the New York State Division of Budget, afforded me an opportunity to learn a lot of different things about how finances are allocated to different programs. And I bought a home in the early 90s. And in some of the volunteer work that I did, I was interacting with a lot of people who had a lot of questions about why things are being done in the way that they were being done in the city. And people would make a statement like, why don't they do something about that? Why don't they do something about the streets? Why don't they do something about the fact that we don't have youth programs? Why don't they? So I said, I'm going to join the they group. And I sat around my dining room table with some friends and we mapped out a plan. I decided to run for office and run for common council in the city of Albany representing the second ward. So it was really just a matter of looking at what I was doing professionally and just and the work that I was doing volunteering in the community, and just decided to marry the two and see what I could do to be a voice for those people who are asking those questions.
Definitely. So what did you realize after you got into office?
What I realized first and foremost is that nothing happens quickly. You can be very excited about something, very passionate about a particular issue, but you don't change the world overnight. It's all about building relationships, getting understanding the value of your information, and just building. It really is politics. It's about building relationships such that you can see yourself in other people's issues and people can see you in their issue. So therefore, you can come together to some compromise. So for that works for the benefit of all concerned. Um, it's very satisfying work. Can be very satisfying to be able to know that you're doing some things that are really helping to change people's lives individually and collectively in a community.
So since you've been in office and as the president of the City Common Council, what has changed, if anything?
Well, what I found in the last 20 years since I've been involved in politics heavily, that we're seeing a lot more diverse groups of people getting involved in politics. There's more women getting involved. There's more people of color getting involved. We still need to do more on both fronts. I found that over the last 20 years, we've had a number of people, particularly in Albany County, that have become part of the county legislature. And here in the city of Albany, we have 5 members of the Common Council are people of color, and including myself as president. So those are things those are great improvements that we've seen. So people have a voice. I think we have a long way to go in terms of working collectively to achieve our goals, but we've become a force, a community to be reckoned with, and we have to work harder to make sure that issues are addressed that affect not only people of community or women, but that because ultimately, whether you're concerned about healthcare, education, child care, women's issues, senior issues, they affect everybody. No matter what hue your skin may be, it affects everybody. So it's just good to have different viewpoints around the table because that's how you get greater and diverse outcomes.
Definitely. So after getting into office, you decided that you would have some sort of rollout plan in order to make that happen.
Well, like I said, I've been on the Common Council for 20 years. That's 3 terms as the council member representing the second ward, which is right here in the south end of Albany. And then I've had 2 terms as president. As president, I've run citywide because in Albany, you don't get elected by the body, you get elected by the people. You run citywide. So I've had the experience of running citywide campaigns twice. I also, in between my 2 runs for president, ran for the state assembly. And also, I do think that it's time. We have a city that, while majority white, is getting more black, brown, and beige every day. We have a very diverse community, which I think adds to the richness of our community. And I want to be able to have the opportunity to work with this wonderful community of people to address many of the issues that are of great concern to them, be they education of their children, be they affordable housing, economic development opportunities, and just job opportunities in general, public safety, waste management. There's a myriad of issues that people are concerned about. But none is more important than the fiscal solvency of our city. It's no mystery that Albany, historically, I guess over the last 10 years at least, longer than that, has had the opportunity to get funding from the state of New York. All cities get some funding from the state of New York. We believe that our funding is at a level that should be increased because 60% of the property in Albany is tax exempt. So because of that, you don't have that tax income coming in as revenue to run the operations of our city. So we have to find alternative means to support the operations of our city. And even if we were to get funding on the same level as maybe Rochester, Utica, Buffalo, or Syracuse, the state would have to give us an influx of maybe 30 to 35 additional $1 million a year. We don't see that coming anytime soon. But we certainly believe that the conversation, the time has come for the conversation to look at the formula that is being used as to how the city of Albany gets funding. We were a victim of our success in that we didn't need extra funding for so many years. And some of the other cities in the past, when they've had trouble, they got extra funding from the state, and then it became a part of their normal budget. So we have to get to that point. But also, there's opportunities for us to look at entities such as SUNY Poly, the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering, now SUNY Poly out on Fuller Road, which is a $30 to $35 billion operation that is tax exempt also and does not contribute any funds to our operating budget. So what we'd like to do is make sure that we can open up a conversation with them that also would maybe provide us with additional funding for the city of Albany. This year we had the opportunity or the necessity to ask the governor for additional $12.5 million to just to balance our budget. That $12.5 million, in my mind, is just a rounding number for what's going on out on Fuller Road at SUNY Poly. I would like to further explore how we might get into some agreement with them where they can help us fund some of the things that take place in our city. Around the country, other entities such as that do provide some operating or funding resource for large cities. So I think that there are places that we can look to get information on how to make it happen. But I just believe that we cannot just sit back and say, well, they're tax exempt. Well, they're operating as a for-profit entity because they have over 200 businesses from around the world paying to do research there. Why don't we get some benefit from that? So I will be advocating very strongly that we pursue a financial relationship with SUNY Poly.
Okay. Now, what do you say to your constituents who basically do not want to be a part of the process?
Well, one of the things, this is an issue that didn't just start, it's been 50 years or longer. People feel a disconnect to politics They read so many negative things about it. But I tell people that you can't afford not to be involved in politics. If you have a family, if you have children, do it for them. If you have senior parents or grandparents, do it for them. No longer can you sit on the sidelines. Sidelines are just for football. That's what I tell people. And you have got to be involved. You've got to register to vote. Then, when you register, you've got to be an active participant by going to the polls. And I'm talking about voting for your library board, voting for your school board, your school budget, any referendum that may come up. Because
Now, why should they vote for you?
I believe that um, people should vote for me for the next mayor for the city of Albany because I'm a prepared individual. I'm prepared, a prepared professional who has an understanding of what it's like to live in a community such as Albany. I'm an Albany native who has had experience outside of the city of Albany. So I know the value of what we have here, but I also know the potential and the promise that the city of Albany has. I would like to see a city where people feel proud about the fact that they have chosen to live in the city of Albany. And they can only do that if they live in a city that is listening to what their needs are, listening to what they have to say, and making decisions that reflect what we have heard from our citizens. Decisions that include providing additional after school programs for our children, providing senior programs for our seniors who have worked and helped to build our city and are now retired in their homes in the city of Albany. A city where people can afford to live by advocating for affordable housing opportunities, no matter what economic end of the spectrum you're in. I need affordable housing. Young families need affordable housing. Seniors need affordable housing. So I will be a leader who advocates for affordable housing and leader who will advocate for rebuilding our neighborhoods one block at a time. No longer can we ignore any parts of the city of Albany for the benefit of one other part. We cannot be considered a tale of two cities. We have to make decisions that reflect the needs and concerns of everyone in the city. And we have to talk about how we are going to make the city of Albany a safe city, continue to be a safe city. Our public safety and our community policing initiative that is so much a part of our city is one that I will continue to advocate strongly for. I also will be a leader that will have an active role, seek out an active role in the education of our children. Because so many times, families will make a decision on where to live based on the educational opportunities. So I believe that our city administration should play a major role in our educational process in the city of Albany. There's so many issues that are of importance to me and important to the people of Albany. Can we tackle them all at once? No. But one by one, we can chip away and make sure that we are on the moving up and not declining. We cannot afford to let our city, our neighborhoods, our communities deteriorate to the point where people will decide that they want to leave or they will not choose Albany. I believe that Albany is one of the greatest cities in the United States of America. And I want the opportunity to lead that city based on my history, based on my ability, and based on my relationship with the business community, nonprofit community, as well as other political leaders, so that we can all work together to make decisions that make this city of Albany the capital city of the Empire State of New York, so that we can make this city one that we're all proud of. Proud to invite people to visit, people to work, but most importantly, to live. That's why I want to be mayor of Albany. And I believe that as you talk to us over the next few months, I'm confident that you will make the decision as well to vote for me to achieve those goals.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. We appreciate your insight. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my views with the Capital Region and more specifically with the City of Baltimore.